Lately, I've been finding it hard to wrap my head around this whole final saga thing in One Piece. So instead of thinking about it some more, I'm just gonna ignore it and think about the beginning of the story when Luffy started his journey. Him, Zoro, Nami, Usopp, Sanji, starting five. Matter of fact, I'm gonna make my own five-man crew. I'm gonna make me a five-man crew of non-Devil Fruit users that are gonna sail through the first half of the Grand Line. Five to mirror the same five Luffy had when he started his journey, and non-Devil Fruit users specifically because Roger constantly seized and found the One Piece without a Devil Fruit. So, wanna have a crew without Devil Fruits as well. But I'm gonna make a quick caveat. I'm not going to take any Emperors or Emperor crews, so I don't want my crew to be too overpowered, but I'm going to let myself take some people from the Marines, despite the fact that they're technically not pirates. But I guess the first person, or I guess persons I would take into my crew will be Dory and Broggy, the giants that the Straw Hat beat when they first entered the Grand Line. I think Dory and Broggy are two of the most underrated characters in the story, especially when it comes to their strength. When we first meet them, they've been fighting each other for whatever reason for 100 years. And they had a bounty on their head when they started this fight of 100 million berries. If they were still active and pirating for that 100 years and did not die, they could be having close to 1 billion berry bounties on their head by this point. But the fact that they have been fighting for that 100 years means that they stayed in top physical form for that time. They have an attack that blew through a giant goldfish. Yeah, they are an easy grab for the first two in my opinion without having a Devil Fruit. But the third person that I would add to the crew is actually going to be the first and only Marine added to the crew, and that's going to be Vice Admiral Momonga. Now, the Vice Admirals are really second only to the Admirals and I guess Fleet Admiral in strength and notoriety in the Marines, and Momonga in particular has grabbed my respect simply because of his interaction with Boa. When he first ran up on her, he stabbed his aunt so that he isn't caught by her skill, showing that he's aware of her power and her presence around him. But afterwards, he stayed firm, waited her to finish a little Tensor Champion, come back, and told her to turn his men back, showing that he was willing to keep going to make sure he got his job done, but was also flexible enough to adapt to the situation to get his men back and to keep it pushing even though they returned to Stone for some odd days. But I think he's a good representative from the Marines, and our vice captain that we're going to grab is going to be the person that holds down the entirety of the crew when the captain's not around. And he's actually a person I grabbed from someone else's crew who, if you ask some One Piece fans, might say it's an Emperor level crew if you really squint at it. And that's going to be Killer from the Kid Pirates. Now, Killer showing on Rude Piece shows that he's strong enough to back up his name, Killer, but even with his strength aside, he has shown that he can keep Kid on track, keep him in order, and have him do what he needs to do. So he has his eyes on the prize, and he knows how to keep the crew intact. But he's also there to fight when it's time to fight, and is right by Kid's side. So he'll fight for the crew to defend the crew when the captain's not around. And I know he technically has a Devil Fruit with a Smile Fruit, but it gives him no powers. His fighting style is the exact same with or without the fruit, so it's not even like he even has that. But Killer aside, when it comes to our captain, the final person I'm going to pick, he doesn't even really need a vice captain. He doesn't even really need a crew. Heck, he doesn't even need to go through just the first half of the Grand Line. He's probably lapped the whole Grand Line a number of times like it's a track. And he is, in my opinion, the strongest non-Devil Fruit user in the story, and that is Dracule Mihawk. Now, Mihawk is my favorite character in the story, but bias aside, if you ask any One Piece fan to name the top 10 strongest characters in the story, he's probably on their list. And that's not even crazy to say. I mean, he's the strongest swordsman for a reason. He has the ability to tipple the balance by doing something. I mean, he purposely does nothing, but if he chose to do something, he can change the entire structure of the story. If he took the Navy, if he took his position as a warlord seriously, that's an admiral level warlord at minimum. And if he joined another emperor, or if he became a pirate captain and had a crew with a decent vice captain of his own. He's taking so much territory of his own. He's kicking the Marines basically out of the New World, and it's just going to be pirates only after that. It's kind of crazy the level of strength he himself had, which makes him an easy captain for this crew of non-Devil Fruit users. And that is my 5-man crew. I might do another 5-man crew of only Devil Fruit users for the New World specifically, but for right now, it is what it is.